And then 10 years earlier, that is you.
Yeah.
Is that right?
The
Is that correct?
transformation.
Yeah. So that was, I think that
That
was like
gives
my
me,
That was that was 2015
second or third.
provincials.
Yeah.
I hope that inspires and gives people hope.
Welcome to Bodybuilders Amateur Hour. Here we have, again, Caroline Mitton and
Hello.
Alix Watters. What's happening? We are here celebrating you and all of your recent victories. And for everyone that's watching at home, Alix, would you mind putting you on the spot there, doing like a little self-introduction? Tell us who you are, when did you start, what shows you've done, how many asses you've kicked along the way.
So yeah, I started competing actually pretty late. So I started when I was in my early 30s, which was 10 years ago. Started just doing local shows. So I've done a bunch of regional shows. And at the time, the way the league was set up, you did regionals, then you would go to provincials and all that jazz. So I competed for 2 to 3 years, did about 5 to 6 shows. And I took a big break and I just started again, I guess 2 or 3 years ago. Did the Flex Lewis in 2021.
Nice.
Got my ass kicked by Agata just before she won her pro card. So I placed second
Ah,
in Masters and in my height class. So it was a little sad when she noticed she was in Masters beside me because she looked phenomenal for that show.
she did,
Uh,
yes.
oh my God, she's fantastic. And then just in the fall, I just did the Halifax or the Nova Scotia show, won the figure Masters open and overall, and then that qualified me for the national show. And I did that a week later in Toronto and placed second in Masters and third in the Open. So I was
Oh,
pretty happy with that.
Right on,
that's
yeah.
yeah.
Sounds
Congratulations.
like a good career.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
it
is
was,
huge.
it was a good fall, we'll say. It was a good year.
Yeah, you did
Yeah,
really well. Yeah, we were
yeah.
all cheering for you at the Halifax show or the East Coast Championships.
You were the only one smiling when you came out when we were watching some of the other people. I was like, come on, everybody smile. And you were just coming out. I was like, I don't even have to tell her to. She just like, it was just nice to see you enjoying it.
Yeah, I was
From
so
my
happy.
perspective, I've never got to see it, so it was a fun perspective.
Yeah, it was a hard prep, so I was really happy with where I got to by the time I stepped on stage. So, yeah.
When you say hard prep, can you tell me what did you find difficult about it that time?
Yeah, so I think if we're going to be honest, all no prep is easy for anyone,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Right.
I definitely noticed a difference, kind of compared to 10 years earlier when I started competing, and just being in my early 40s, my body was pretty resistant to a lot of the different techniques my coach and I are applying. So I actually had to go keto at the beginning of the prep because I wouldn't respond
Ooh,
to carb.
ouch.
So that was really challenging to be training on that about 18 weeks out for about 4 weeks. And then got my insulin resistance in check and was able to put carbs back in. But it was, I worked hard. We'll leave it at that. Cardio was pretty
Right.
high for the majority of the prep, kind of going 2 to 3 hours at the end of it, which is not ideal for anyone or fun. But you do the work you got to do to get to where you want to get. And I did it. So I was really happy with just the work I put into that prep and the outcome of it.
100%. When you say your insulin check, I didn't go completely keto when I did mine, but my body really I had to cut carbs quite a bit because my body
Yeah.
would just didn't want to give it up. Oh, here's the boy of the moment.
Yeah, there
Anyways,
he is.
he is gonna sneak in. But I want to know what you mean by the insulin.
So definitely never ideal when you're bodybuilding to not have carbs. Like we need them to build
Right.
muscle. We need them for training. It's really not pleasant to be training without them. But I was in a calorie deficit, kind of balanced macros, and my body just wasn't responding at all.
It
So
was
we
holding on to every little bit, right?
holding on to
So
everything.
Yeah.
were you checking it like almost like you were diabetic, or were you getting blood work done
Yeah.
regularly to keep? Yeah, okay.
So
Just
I get
curious
blood
about
work
that.
done before I start a prep, kind of sometimes during a prep and then after a couple months after. But Started testing my blood sugar, my fasting blood sugar, and it was higher than it should have been at that point, even
Oh,
with,
interesting.
Have
yeah, a
you
lot of
always
carbs.
checked your blood sugar in your preps?
No, this is a new thing just because I wasn't responding. So that was the approach my coach and I took.
That's a
So
cool
started,
approach.
yeah, checking fasting blood sugar,
Hmm.
figured out what where it should be. So that's how we made the choice to kind of pull carbs, pushed fats up for a while, and just got my insulin kind of and blood sugars back where they needed to be, and then we reintroduced the carbs. Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's smart. I would have never thought to that. Thought to think of that.
have a good coach, so that helps. It took
Yeah,
me a while to
absolutely. Is he local or is he from
Oh
away?
yeah, who is?
and she's from Ontario. She's a figure pro. Her name's Ali Mills, and she's absolutely phenomenal. For anyone that's
Perfect,
looking
right
for
on.
really smart, caring.
We'll have to link her in the description. Give her a little
Yeah, a little.
shout out.
Someone's audio is a little scratchy here. I'm not sure. Hey,
There we go.
All right,
there we.
I'm back. Sorry.
There you go. That's all good. That's what editing is for.
Hell yeah. I feel like we had so many. I totally bombed one where we were talking to Andrea Shaw.
You're
I
like
just
four-time Miss
destroyed that
Olympia. I was
video.
like,
Oh, I destroyed it. I was trying to do this podcast in a totally different room, and my Wi-Fi was not cutting it, and just running around my house, and it was just, oh, that will forever haunt me.
And all the adventures.
we'll have her back though, so it's fine.
Yeah, she's great.
We'll redeem ourselves.
Yeah, please. That'll be funny. Oh yeah, that'll be a good time. So yeah, insulin. We got there. We got the coach.
Yeah, sorry. Can you
Good to
repeat
go.
your information about your coach?
Yeah, so her name's Ali Mills. She's a figure pro. She's Canadian from Ontario. And she's actually getting ready to compete this year in her second pro show. So she's phenomenal.
Oh, that's
That's awesome.
incredible.
She competes figure like you as well, or does she do different?
Yeah,
Yeah, right on.
she's figure.
Perfect.
And how did you
Yeah.
find her?
Uh, Online. So I've worked with a lot of different coaches and had a really hard time finding someone that was a good fit. I ended up actually self-coaching myself probably for my first 5 shows, which I
Holy
don't
smokes.
recommend for anyone.
No, that's
Yeah. So
intimidating.
some went well, some did not go well. So it's hard to make those crucial decisions when they're about yourself sometimes
Oh,
because
I could never imagine doing that.
I'm
Like,
would not.
so hard on myself. I would never know what to like. I wouldn't. I would have no idea if it's working or not. They
I
always
can
see
tell
the
you
little things.
when it's going well, it's fine.
yeah.
But if you're behind in a prep or you've extra stressors or things going on, it's not great. So
No. And I
yeah,
think like no matter like for me personally, I could be looking amazing and I will still feel like a bag of garbage. Like I don't like what the way I look. I don't like this. I
yeah.
need to drop extra amount of weight, blah blah blah. And then my coach is usually like, "No, you're fine. You're supposed to look like this." It just kind of settles us down. Like
Hmm.
where most people are just like we're just so hard on ourselves and really never ever happy.
Yeah, there's
And
just so
then
much self doubt in a prep, right?
yeah.
It just because your brain's not functioning at full potential as it is. So sometimes making those crucial decisions it just doesn't go well if you're doing it for
Yeah.
yourself. Yeah.
Actually, tell that, and to elaborate on that, actually, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, carbs." They'll try to cut carbs. It's just not even bodybuilding, yes, but also just a normal basic fitness. I'm curious, like a lot of people are like, "Oh, I love going keto," blah blah blah. I personally felt like I couldn't even string a sentence together that a 2-year-old could do. How did you feel? Like, what was that like being completely keto, like complete, like for that long? Did you get cheat meals or anything like that in between?
No, so
Right.
none of that at all during this prep. So uh, that's always challenging. But mentally, I felt fine. I was able to process pretty well off of the fats because we had a lot of really good healthy fats in. But training just sucks. Like
Yeah. Oh,
training without carbs is never ideal. And I work as a trainer myself. I've been a trainer for over 20 years. If someone can eat carbs, they should. And there is times when people run into insulin resistant issues. They're diabetic, pre-diabetic, or they're running into pretty big hormonal issues where they might need to be pulled. But keto should be used as a tool, I believe, to kind of get someone
Mm-hmm.
back to a healthy metabolic state so that they can process carbs again, because we
It's
need
not
them.
sustainable, right? You can't.
Even like I do have a couple of friends who, have used keto long term, and they still include carb up sessions where, every couple of months they will include carbs back in, and they
Oh,
carb
interesting.
cycle another
Yeah.
keto. So yeah.
Just to keep the muscles happy, keep the body happy.
And just to keep yourself
Yeah, like
mentally happy,
That's
same.
true.
enjoy some food, right?
Yeah,
Like,
Like,
carbs are delicious.
they are
right.
delicious.
Yeah.
So it's hard to
So when
cut
you
stuff
say
like
in the
that out.
gym, would you say when you were working out and you weren't eating carbs, you just didn't have like the energy? Would you get like a similar pump on at the gym? Things like that?
Yeah, great question. I would say energy was a lot lower. And I remember the first workout after we had to flip to keto, and I just had to mentally prep myself. I said to my partner, like, I need you to come to the gym with me tonight. I need a emotional support
Just
animal
to be
beside me.
there.
Tell me I can do this.
Yes.
And
Did you give him a
I
little
actually had a
vest?
great, oh
Yeah.
my God, I had a chat with Mike Lyons that night too, and kind of he talked me through how in some of his preps he had to do similar things and pull carbs. So it was helpful to hear that other people have done it too, but energy was low, no pump.
No, I
So
couldn't imagine.
you're
Yeah.
moving the weights, you're doing the work, but you don't feel it, and you can't see that response in your body and your muscles. So it's
Yeah.
definitely not as enjoyable. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
man.
fair. Brutal.
And so, what was like? I guess how long was that? How long did you go through keto for before you switched over? And what was the determining factor to switch back over to carbs?
Yeah, so it was probably a solid 3 to 4 weeks. Pretty early out in the prep. When I started my prep, I started a 20-week prep. We started with, pretty high calories, carbs were part of it, and my body just wasn't responding. So that's how we
Right.
made that decision, I think about 18 weeks out. And we just kept checking my blood sugar. So
Yeah.
it was based on my fasting blood sugar, and my body started to move. We started to see some good changes. So I think after about 4 weeks, we started slowly reintroducing carbs back in, and my body kept responding. So we knew it was the right call.
Ah, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's wonderful. So then, fast forward to your peak week.
Hmm.
What
Which
was
one?
that like for you? For like the most recent one, when you're going into like the East Coast Championships. I'm
Okay,
always curious
so
about people's peak weeks and how did you handle it compared to, was there anything different than like your previous ones? Because I was scrolling through your Instagram and your conditioning and your look for the Halifax and Nationals was like amazing, right?
yeah,
So,
I was really pleased with it. I found I did two peak weeks back to back, right? So I had
yep.
the Halifax show was September 29th, and then Nationals, I think, was October 5th or 6th. So it was directly a week after. Body was definitely in two different places.
Mm-hmm.
The look at Nationals I found was a lot better than Halifax. My conditioning was better. I was tighter. So I was a lot more pleased with the second one. Heading into the Halifax show, we weren't able to carb me up as much as we wanted because I was holding a bit. Like I definitely had some stressors
Okay.
that week, and we almost felt that my abdomen was a bit watery, and it looked a bit worse than it had looked a couple weeks prior to during my prep. So uh, it wasn't a great peak week, I would say. Heading into the Halifax show, I was actually pretty lucky with how well I did. I found going into nationals, much better response. So I
Well,
increased my sleep as much as I could. I really stayed off my feet that week, and then we were
oh, nice.
able to really carb up hard before nationals. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've never eaten so many sleeves of plain rice cakes as I did a day or two before getting on stage. It was I could tell you my dog got sore from chewing them.
Oh,
Oh wow,
nasty.
just trying to
Oh,
dry
man.
up a little bit.
Yeah, it was just rice and plain rice cakes and a copious amount of salt the Friday and Saturday leading into the national show.
So
Interesting.
between the two shows, like peaking twice,
Yeah.
like I find
Savage.
you always look better your second show. Well, most of the time,
Yeah.
if your peak week is done properly.
Yeah.
Um, like what? How did the week between the two shows go? Did
It
you
was
train
fantastic.
much? Did you train much? Did you eat a lot? Did you just you were probably a little? How was the stress levels?
I really managed the stress levels better before nationals than I did before the Halifax show, and learned a lot from the Halifax show. So for the Halifax show, I had my brother and my niece came down, and I was really excited to see them,
That's
but they were
nice.
staying with me, and that was a mistake. I would
Oh,
never
right.
don't have house guests if you're getting on stage. It's not ideal. So I learned
Oh
a
yeah,
lot
then you
from
gotta
that.
worry about them.
Yeah, I got to worry about them. I was picking them up at the airport the Friday night after the athletes meeting, and
Ugh,
that was not
that's not
ideal,
good.
and
Yeah.
it was not
Yeah,
smart.
I'm
So I
thinking about it now,
learned.
and I'm like, oh, that sounds just like it's too much. Too
Yeah,
much.
so I
Mm.
definitely managed my stress a lot better going into the second peak week. I just had less on my schedule. I cleared my schedule. I did train Monday to Thursday. So
Okay.
I
Yeah.
continued my training right up until usually the Thursday before a show if I'm competing on Saturday. Uh, Training was pretty great. Food and carbs were probably I would say pretty high heading into nationals that second week. We just kind of pulled them back the Sunday and Monday. Steps were really high, so I pulled back on cardio, but I was outside getting a lot of walks in, and that's a really good thing for me. It helps me manage my stress. So I was getting, I think the Monday after the Halifax show, I had like 20,000 steps that day and just got outside, got fresh air, and I took that week off work, which made a big difference. So just was able to prioritize myself, and that's it.
Nice, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
that'd be
awesome.
that'd be crazy to try to make. I feel like managing your time for that second show could be
Yeah.
a tough one.
I got really selfish, which I needed to do. Yeah.
You know, to spend time with yourself, kind of just focusing on that next one. It's only like a week or so away. And
Yeah.
it's just like hyper focus at that point because there's not really enough wiggle room to make mistakes to come back from those any mistakes.
You just want to make the most out of it, right? You've trained so hard for
Mm.
months. It's worth just doing what you need to do that week.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
You just gotta. Yeah. It takes like. So this is I love talking about this. Amateurs that are listening or people that are thinking about getting into the sport, bodybuilding, figure, bikini, anything really. The sacrifice that it takes when it comes to personal sacrifice, family sacrifice, social, like work. Even work kind of even falls onto the back burner sometimes, and everyone has to be. You got to be prepared for it, and you have to know that it's coming if you want to do well,
Yeah, you do.
right?
Oh yeah, it
So
becomes your life. Like
yes.
eat, breathe, sleep, your program.
Yeah.
So when you before you start your prep, like 20 weeks out, say like at 21 or 22 weeks out, how are you prepping life to get into your actual physical prep? How are you lining things up? Are you like telling friends and family that, I might not be around for the next 20 weeks? Or,
Yeah.
how does that go with how do you manage those little stresses to try to minimize them?
I think I think you learn with time, and I think the last couple shows I did really taught me a lot, and I had those conversations. So I had a conversation with my partner, and it was the first time he was dating someone that was competing, so this was new to him.
Oh, that's
So a lot of
exciting.
That
yeah,
is
well,
exciting. How did he handle it? We'll
might
get
be
into that
getting
after
different
maybe.
Yeah,
feedback
I would
on
love.
that, but
Yeah.
yeah. So just pre-framing a lot of things with friends. Just let them know you might not hear much from me in the next couple months. Feel free to text and reach out, but socially, I just won't be doing things. And I made that decision when I started my prep. I don't have travel. I'm not from here, so my family's in Montreal, and my family knows they're not going to see me during that period of time. I won't go
Right.
home in the summer, and I just really prioritized myself. So I got really selfish with my schedule, and you have to do that with my work schedule. I'm self-employed, so I planned my work schedule to taper down as I got closer
Oh,
to the show.
nice. Good. Well, that's
So
lucky
it was
there
a
in
lot
some
of
ways.
plan.
Oh
Yeah. So
yeah,
financially, there
ideal.
was planning involved, so I could do that. And I just, when I'm doing a show, I have to prep for it in some way, kind of almost a year out. So I periodize my work schedule over the year too around competing so that I can really
Yeah.
give it everything I got. No.
I love that. That's such a smart plan.
Yeah.
You got to do it. If you can work your work schedule around your bodybuilding program, that's like no
It's
excuses at all
definitely,
there.
yeah, it's definitely, I'm lucky I'm able to do that.
Mm,
So it worked out really well. But definitely a lot less time with my partner, a lot less time with his kids. And
Yeah.
that's hard, right? Like you feel in a way that you're letting people down, but I'm lucky that I have a really supportive partner and he just said, "Hey, I got it." So when I started my prep, he actually started his own project and he had bought
oh,
a piece of
good.
land and started building a cabin. So when I was
Oh,
focused on the weekends at the gym, he would go to the land and worked on his cabin, and that worked out really well. That he had his own drive and focus
right.
too.
I
Yeah,
Wow.
love that. That is just
yeah,
so ideal. That's what I was trying to tell Kenzie when I was doing my prep. I was like, you find a hobby. This is a perfect time. You've got like
yeah.
3, 4 months to learn something new. Do it. Go for it.
Exactly, and do something they're excited about too, so they're not kind of just poking at you
Right.
and being like, "Pay attention to me," because you can't.
It's like, yeah. And if, yeah, the attention
I'm
sometimes
with
that
you
they
in
do get is
spirit.
not, yeah.
Yeah, I'm always like, "I love you. I'm with you in spirit," but
Because
I
sometimes the
need to really
attention that they
for
do
myself.
get is not great. So you
No,
want
definitely
to
not.
put that on the back burner too.
The
Right.
demon voice comes out. You're like, you're bothering me. And then they're like, I just want a hug. And then you're just like, I don't have time for that. I'm too busy
Yeah, talk to me in three
boiling
months.
eggs. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Boiling eggs. That's
I
boiling
don't know.
Well,
shit.
Spend a lot of time doing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
the flip side of
Cooking
that too is
steak.
when it's over, you have to reprioritize those relationships, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
And
I
So
had like so many spa days booked with Kenzie and I, and like of all these like little. We went to concerts and did all kinds of stuff. Like it was like boom, boom,
oh
boom. It was like 1 or 2 things a month afterwards. I was like,
yeah,
I'm gonna make it up to you. Let's do it. We got so much shit to do.
it's so good, right? You need to reconnect because you kind of
yeah.
really do
Yeah, it
fall apart
feels
a bit.
good. You almost, even if you're in a long-term relationship, that part of like abstinence almost, makes the heart grow fonder, blah blah blah. But it really does, right? It kind of brings you back, and you're a little bit more excited to hang out with each other and do stuff. It's
Yeah.
right, quite nice, quite nice. So what I like to ask pretty much everybody is, your first show was almost 10 years ago, I
Yeah.
believe, right?
Yeah.
Do you
Nice.
remember why you even decided to do one in the first place?
Yeah. So I grew up watching wrestling on TV with my brother. So Saturday
Oh,
mornings, that's what we would
nice.
do. We would watch our like pro wrestlers, and I remember looking at these people and being like, "They're amazing. Look at their bodies." And then when I went into high school and all my friends were reading all like the teenage girl magazines, because
Oh,
that was the
yes.
thing that I would buy Muscle and Fitness or Muscle and Fitness Hers or Flex, and
Oh,
I just taste. So it just, I
cool.
was always really interested in it, but it took me years to work up the courage to actually do it.
Yeah, because you said your first show was in, you were 30,
32. Yeah, I
32.
started.
Okay. So you
Yeah,
wanted to
Yeah,
do it,
I'm a
but
late
like,
bloomer.
yeah,
yeah, and you know what?
Yeah, I
It's a
was
sport where
30.
you can do that. Like that's amazing, right?
yeah, and it's
Like,
totally okay, right? Yeah.
I mean, my mom was a late bloomer. She was 59 when she did her first
love
show.
that.
Yeah.
59.
Oh, that's so inspiring, right? And
She looked
that's what I
fucking
tell
incredible.
people.
I was
Like,
blowing
it's
my.
not too
Yeah, she
late.
looked like she was in her 20s again. It's like, what the hell?
Oh, I mean,
She looked better
it's
than me. I was like, what is this?
She
Stop.
is,
so impressive because it's harder when you get older. Like, there's a reality
Oh,
that it
yeah.
is. Like, your body
yeah.
just doesn't respond. So I'm always amazed when people kind of set those goals later on. I think it's totally amazing. Yeah.
So your first show, you coached yourself? Is that how, if I,
Yeah.
all right, where did that
Whew.
education come from and how did that work out?
Well, been working as a trainer for a long time. Like, I did a kin degree and I've a bazillion certifications, and I kind of always read books. Total nerd, loved this stuff anyways. And I had
Awesome.
prepped a couple people for shows before I did my first one, which again I would
Okay.
not recommend.
Right. Yep.
Don't think you should be prepping people if you haven't done it yourself.
Oh
So
yeah.
you don't know
That
what to
drives
expect.
me
Like,
nuts.
yeah.
Or if you've done one show, don't think you can just jump in and
Yeah, just don't. So I made that
yeah.
mistake, and I did it. Uh, so I just thought, hey, I'll do my own prep. And I had a client that I was prepping for the same show. It was her first show too, and it was great because she ended up winning it, and I placed second behind her, which
that's
thought, well,
that's pretty
it's a great
cool.
outcome.
Right.
Like went well as a coach,
Yeah.
better as a coach than as a participant, but I was pretty pleased with that. So yeah, it was a pretty neat experience being able to do my first show with a client that I was prepping and they were doing their first show too.
Yeah.
A little
That's pretty
shared trauma, as I like to say.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually became really great friends after that, and we did the next 5 together. So we
Oh,
prepped,
sick.
yeah, for the next 2 years, and she kept winning, which was great.
Oh, right
Yeah,
on.
like she did much better than I did. So that's kind of after those shows, I kind of realized I need someone else to kind of guide me and take on that
Yeah,
Right.
she
position.
had outside eyes. You didn't. You just need some
Yeah,
outside eyes.
and as
No,
a
yeah, that
coach, I know
makes
you prioritize your clients, right? If you're a great coach or trainer, like you
That's
really
true.
yeah.
care about what you do. And so it was hard to prioritize myself when I was also had her doing the same show. So yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. And you hear a lot about like coaches competing at the same show. That happened a few times to some coaches at like the Atlantics, and
yeah,
it's just happens all the time. And like, how do you give? Because when you're a fitness coach, you're almost on call 24 hours. It's like
yeah,
the athletes, we stop thinking for ourselves and we will ask you anything and everything at, 6 in the morning when you get up and you don't know what you're doing to like 9 at night for like your last meal. People will just text you and message you. So to be able to
yeah.
handle that on top of doing your own prep, I think would
It's
be,
not easy.
yeah.
So what I did, I just actually did it again when I did nationals. I had a client that was competing in nationals too. And there's no way I would have been able to do that if I'd been coaching myself. So I had my coach there. She was at the show. She had my back. And then I had a client that competed in Bikini Masters 45 plus and actually won her class at nationals.
Oh,
Oh,
So
right on.
well, congratulations for you two. They're
worked
like
out
on,
great, but yeah, it's not easy.
Don't even want to fathom it.
Yeah.
I'm going
Don't.
to pull up something here. Let me see if I can do this. Where's it at?
Do
Give me
do do
a
do
second
do
here.
do 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 do. That was
Okay,
flat. Here we go. Perfect timing too.
that was good. Good job.
Yeah.
All right. So this is you at nationals.
Woo!
Yeah.
Looking amazing.
Like, killed it. And I'm just gonna do like a little flip back and forth here. So that's you at nationals.
Mm-hmm.
And then 10 years earlier, that is you.
Yeah.
Is that right?
The
Is that correct?
transformation.
Yeah. So I think that
That
was like
gives
my
me,
second.
That was 2015
Second or third.
provincials,
Yeah.
I hope
So
that
I did like
inspires
one
and
or two
gives people
before.
hope.
right? Like
Yeah. Oh my God. Just keep working. Like it's amazing what we can
that
do, right?
Yeah,
that
because a lot of people want to look like that, and that took
but
10 years.
but yeah, they don't think that you have to go through the process of like learning your body and building and transforming every
Muscle,
year to something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then
So, and
you're
that was 10 years.
posing.
I didn't compete the whole time, but I
no,
trained consistently, like 4 or 5 days a week that whole decade.
And that's
So,
really, I feel like the most important part, like the training, the background stuff is always
right.
so important. Then like the prep,
Like
like anybody could go through a prep, but I always hear people saying how important off season is. And
oh
it's
my
just like, you just
God,
had a
yeah.
very long off season. We'll just, there you go. And a less stressful off season because you weren't actually like on some program. You were just enjoying the gym.
Yeah, enjoying the gym. I can tell you it
And
makes such a difference to have your consistency with. Like that's my goal right now. Going into my next show is I want this to be my best off season. And
So what's
with
the plan for that?
like the big thing for me is nutrition, being more consistent with my nutrition. So my training, I always train hard. I'm always consistent with that. But it was not letting my conditioning kind of get too far from stage
Right?
because I come in like I'm a bigger figure girl, so I carry a lot of muscle. So worked hard for
which
that,
is
and I'm
good.
lucky
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
But it's conditioning is where my opportunity to improve is in my posing. So working with a posing coach off season now, um, posing weekly. I tend to avoid it usually in off season because it's not as
It's
fun to
no,
practice your posing when you're
no,
not looking
nobody
as
wants. Yeah.
No,
I,
you just
so,
feel like a
but
weird role, like a
yeah.
you do.
statue
You
I
just look at
hate
role.
it.
yourself and you kind of rip yourself apart. And I'm not doing that anymore. So I've made some really big changes with mindset and how I'm approaching this. And if I want to be better on stage with posing, it's got to start now. And
I love
just
it.
really owning my consistency with my nutrition off season. So
Yeah.
just nailing it day after day. And it's been going really well. My reverse, I have my food way up higher than it was before I started my last prep, which is very good. And I'm not even up 10 pounds from stage weight yet, which is I'm really proud of myself. So it's been by far my best
How many weeks
reverse.
has it been, or how many weeks are you from your last show?
Going on about I guess 6, 7 weeks. So
Okay, okay,
pretty
10
pleased
pounds.
with that.
Yeah, that's great.
Uh, just actually recently had dinner with 3 other girls that compete. So a wellness girl, bikini girl, and one of my clients, the client that did nationals, did phenomenal. And she's in her late 40s. I'm in my early 40s, and the other 2 girls are one's kind of almost 20, and the other one's late
Almost
20s.
20.
And yeah, like
Like,
I could be your mother,
Damn.
but it was great. And
yeah.
we talked to them about that. We had a really honest conversation about how hard post show is,
Right. No,
and
it
we told them it gets
I
better with
struggled with
time.
it.
It's
Yeah, a
hard for
big
everyone.
time struggle. Yeah, that was like, and it still like haunts me to this day. And it's been like 6 months since after my show. And I only gained, I think, 15 pounds or 20
Good.
after
doing
my,
pretty good.
I know, but, yeah, and it's not bad, but like, I guess my consistency in the gym has been terrible. I haven't been, so, but
It's
yeah,
an
it's, yeah.
opportunity for improvement. That's it, right? Like that's
Hmm.
how we differ this stuff is.
Yeah,
It's gonna get better if you keep competing. The goal is to get a little bit better with part of your prep every time you do it, and to
100%.
be kind to yourself along the way, right? Like no one's
Mm.
perfect with this. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone struggles at some point during a prep or post show, and just be kind with yourself and just aim to do a bit better and keep moving forward. Like that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Just doesn't
Yeah, I
help to
love
beat
that.
ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I
Those little
agree.
goals make a huge difference after shows, especially like when you did your first show, like how did you feel after like I know you because you were training yourself and somebody else for your first show, like yeah, I feel like for somebody that might be enough to be like, nah, I'm not doing that again. So obviously your after shows you're like, I'm doing that again.
Yeah, I think my first show I loved and I was so pumped and I did 5 shows and I think in a 2 year span.
Oh wow.
And I remember the
Nice.
fifth one thinking like I'm done. I remember going
Like
to the
this.
gym about a week or two after the fifth show I did and just walking in, walking around and saying fuck this and I walked out. And I
Interesting.
just didn't want to be there. Didn't want to kind of eat anything healthy. I remember kind of lying in bed for a week eating a bag of M&Ms every night in bed
You're
being like,
right.
I
You're like,
missed M&Ms. And
How
then
did I do
you
this
you have to
before?
learn from that, right? Like
mm-hmm. Yeah.
it was part of my journey, and that's okay,
Yeah.
right? Learn
Yeah.
that I didn't want to do that after these past 2 shows. I think I cut 35, 40 pounds to get on stage by the time I got on
Right
stage for
on.
nationals. I
Jesus.
don't want to have to do that again. It was not fun.
No.
Right. And a lot of people think like, oh, you must have put on a lot of size when like cutting all that weight, like being like usually like when you're bulking, you put on, people are like, oh, you put on 20, 30 pounds. And when you're needing to cut that amount of weight, you're surprised on how much like muscle you've built compared to
Yeah.
like the weight that you've actually put on. And like you're in the process of cutting all that weight, you'd end up losing a lot too along the way.
You do, and it's hard on your body. Like,
Right.
especially like I'm not a tall woman. Apparently I'm 5'3". I thought I was 5'5". Learned I was not at nationals. So went down a height class this year. Not sure
Oh
how that
wow.
happened.
Shit.
But yeah, I'm not a tall woman, right? Like you don't want to. If it's different, if I'm a big, huge bodybuilder that's 6'4", I'm not. You don't want to be jumping up 30, 40, 50 pounds. It's just too hard on your
Yeah.
body, and hormonally, there's an after effect to that you're going to have to fix or figure out after. So it's not worth it.
Yeah.
No, I feel that.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
5'1", and I lost 40 pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot on your frame.
Five
That's a
one, yeah,
hell of a lot of
I was
work.
140 pounds, and I had to lose. Well, I ended up losing 40. I had no idea how much I was going to lose because it
Yeah.
was my first show. I had no idea. It was 99 pounds when I competed. I'm like 115 to 120 now. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, that
But that's
was
a
that
yeah. That
it was
transformation
the
was
weight feels like
pretty
shit. The weight
amazing.
feels like shit.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
worth trying to keep that stuff in check in the off season, just so you don't have to put your body through that again. And to give you a reference
No.
point, I'm like
Yeah.
5'3", 140 on stage. So I don't need to be putting on like a ton more size.
My first competition,
That's perfect.
you outweighed me for sure.
Yeah.
I stepped on my stage the very first time at 132.
Oh wow.
Right? So small.
Oh my God, that would be cool to compare your guys' photos.
You would destroy
Hers,
me.
her when you were in the beginning and her now.
Absolutely destroy me. And for a few other shows after that, 100%.
I carry a lot of muscle mass for women. Like I
Yeah.
am lucky with that. I've worked hard for it, but I'm definitely a lot bigger than a lot of the other girls on stage. Yeah.
Yeah, I found
Yeah.
that
And that's
intimidating,
something to be
knowing that
definitely.
one day I might compete against you, and I was like, I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah.
No, because it's not
I'm
about
gonna
you
do
doing
it, and
it,
I can
right?
do it, but yeah, I
It's
need
like
to
it's
have those
about proportion.
legs.
It's proportion. So it doesn't
Right.
matter how much you weigh on stage. I always tell people that. Like it's not the biggest person that wins. It's a person who brings the best package and has
Yeah,
the best
exactly.
shape and the best size. Yeah.
Hmm. For all the amateurs like myself, I guess even I need to be checked like that once in a while. It's like you see someone, you're like, oh my God, they're so much bigger than me. Maybe I won't do it. Do it anyway.
Like do it
Do it
anyways
anyway.
because you know where
You
they
never
are in
know.
their. It's not comparable, right? Like bodybuilding's a sport where your goal is to be better than you were in your last show, and it doesn't matter about
100%.
anyone else. You're competing against yourself, and I truly believe that. I kind of don't look at the other people I'm going up against. I try to just stay away from that, and the goal is to be better for me. That's it. So you don't want to compare yourself to someone who's been doing this for
No.
like 10 or
Yeah.
15 years. Like that's
Yeah, you can't. And yeah.
yeah, it's just hard in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would,
So
yeah, it definitely can be hard on the head.
Mhm.
I have a question from Sarah. She messaged and she wants to know what you've been training for quite a long time. So
Yeah.
what is your training like, and have you bounced around to different types of training styles, and what do you enjoy the most, or what do you see the most benefits out of?
Um, my training again. So my coach does my programming, which is really improved. I saw the biggest improvements in the last 2 years since I really handed everything over to her. So I'm going to be honest. So we really focus on certain areas, and that's what my training split is based around. So for me, I'm a bit thicker, so we have to really minimize my waist. So shoulders, I train twice a week. Back twice a week, like especially focus on lats because I have a lot of thickness and density to my back apart from that, and then 2 days a week of legs. So I train 5 days a week.
Nice.
Usually 3 on, 1 off, 2 on, 1 off. Sometimes that gets messed
That's
up a
my
bit, but
breakdown.
yeah. So it's just based on the
Yeah.
areas that I need to for my class.
Nice.
A
Okay.
whole lot of shoulders. Shoulders are my fave.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Anything upper body, I just obliterate me. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm willing. And then there's leg day where I'm just like whining to go, and I'm just like those the push that I get on my upper body that I like look for. I dread it on my
Yeah.
leg days. Dread
Yeah,
it.
leg days. I find I love off season. Once you're kind of getting depleted towards the end of your prep, they can get pretty nasty. Just because
It's
you
like,
can't push as hard as you want to,
and it's
or
very
it's hard to
draining.
push that. Yeah,
I
it's
always
really draining.
I always find the day after is like where I schedule like one of my rest days is after a leg
Yeah,
day, right?
I try to do that
Is
too.
because I'm usually tired the next day, just like
I try
physically
to just
just
have
done.
nothing later that day. Go home and I
Yeah,
try and nap. I don't want to do anything for like 24 hours.
I know.
Yeah,
Yeah, legs are savage. I find just because it's such a big movement, like your whole body's moving usually when you're doing some type of leg movement or you're pushing your whole body rather than just moving your arms or I guess upper body is literally just moving your arms around different directions with weights.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I find for legs too. Like I do more. I've had times where I've had more of a posterior chain leg focus, and then an anterior, so more like quad
Yep.
day and hamstring day. And
Mm.
posterior chain, like hamstrings are easy for me. Hamstrings and glutes I develop well. Quads I've had to
Oh,
really
lucky
put a lot
you.
of effort in. Such a weak spot.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
So
quads are. Did you have a
I'm the
favorite
like
opposite.
that's
exercise
my
for your
hard mode.
quads?
Pendulum squat, hack squat, like
Pendulum
love to hate
squat.
them.
You got to go to Fitness
Hate
FX
them,
for
but
that one.
you've got to go to Fitness FX. It's nasty, but it's one of those exercises you know that it's never going to get easier.
No, it's
But
not.
it's
Is that where it's
fantastic.
a chain
It's
and you connect
always
it?
so hard.
Is that the chain
Yeah,
that you
it's a
connect between?
machine.
That's
Okay.
the belt
It's a machine
squat.
where you're kind of like swooping
Oh,
down
okay.
at an angle, so your feet are up at an angle, so you can get into really, really deep knee flexion. Like your hamstrings are
Oh,
going to start to grab, so
yeah.
you can get
I've
really
seen.
deep, deep, but your back supported. Yeah,
I want to go to Fitness FX, but in
nasty.
Halifax, it's just like I'm like, am I going to find parking? What is it going to be like?
No,
Yeah,
the
parking's easy. It's one of the
parking's
best
fine.
gyms. You will train at. You will love it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotta come. You gotta come check it out.
Yeah, we
Have
say
to
it's
get a day
probably
pass.
we say it's the best gym in the East Coast for sure.
By far.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The commute gets me. I'm lazy.
Right. It's worth it every like once, at least once or twice a month. Gotta give her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh
Just
my
for
God,
your
yeah.
leg day.
Once or twice a week.
Get
Yeah.
that pendulum
Yeah, maybe
squat.
I can do my 2 leg days there. Just go twice a week.
Yeah, it's not too
Yeah,
bad.
you would. I'm telling you, you will see such improvements, and you'll just get motivated. Like the vibe there is phenomenal. Very.
Well, I'm
It's
gonna end
more
up seeing a
community.
lot more bodybuilders over there. Yeah, maybe I'll run into you and be like,
Well,
hey.
you will definitely run
And then
into
it'll be
me,
like,
and I will
bye.
be like,
Yeah.
"Hey, like let's hit that pendulum squat, girl."
And then you're gonna see how fucking weak I am.
And then you're gonna see how much stronger you're gonna get by doing it.
That's true.
Ah, I love
True.
it.
Yes,
It's
Yeah.
always it's
just an
always really
opportunity to
satisfying.
improve. Yeah.
It is satisfying watching the strength come along when you just
Yeah.
start your program. Like me, when I hadn't worked out in years, and I was like starting my squats with like just like those shorter bars that was like
Mhm.
30 pounds, 40 pounds, and then I'm like, cool, now I'm squatting the bar, and then you get to. I was really pumped when I got to start putting weights on it because my sets were like 5 sets of
Yeah.
like 25. So like
That's
25,
isn't that like it's so motivating when you see those improvements.
yeah,
And like
yeah, it
everyone
was cool.
starts somewhere. Like I'm post show. I feel like I'm just restarting my training again, right? Because my strength
Yep.
is finally coming back up. So I'm starting to get really pumped and into my training again. Where at the end of my prep, it just was. I just had to do it. Was not super
Amazing.
exciting or energy filled. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Um, Jessica wants to know, out of all the shows that you've done, what's your favorite one so far, and why?
National, the national like the national show in Toronto. Just the
Right.
level of production there was phenomenal. It was so well organized. The
Nice.
quality of the services, like the tanning, like all that stuff it was phenomenal. The show, such a great experience.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
Cool.
and I remember being backstage in the tanning room, and someone had prepped me for it. Right, like you're in there. There's about 30 girls getting tanned at the same time, and
Okay.
it's all these huge, massive, jacked women. And I remember looking around, and like I could have had this moment where I went, two different ways. It could have been like, holy fuck, what am I doing here? But it was like, no, this is the level I want to be at.
This
Like,
is
these are my people. And it was just so inspiring. I was so excited in that moment.
oh,
That's
that's
awesome.
cool.
I
That's
made
great that you have. Yeah, that's great that for that type of mindset, and to be able
Yeah.
to fight through the negativity or like the
Yeah,
the little voice on your in the back or on your shoulder.
yeah, it just
Because
was
I know we all
amazing.
have it. And it's
We do, right? But we just have to kind of dig into it and, believe in ourselves. And it's not always easy and it's hard for all of us. But I think mindset is one of the most important things people can work on. If you're going to be doing a prep, there's so much good
yeah,
information and books and coaching out there. And it's just, you really have to work on your belief in yourself and just your discipline to do the work. Yeah.
yeah. No, I agree. Um, and there's another question about your post show. How you mentioned a little bit about like having a good recomp and
Yeah.
feeling pretty good after the show, but how do you deal mentally with kind of seeing all of your hard work slowly like kind of disappearing and getting covered back up again?
Slowly. I
Yeah.
was fine.
Or
Quickly.
slowly?
I always
the
find it.
fuck
I
you
always
talking
find
about
it for me. It felt so fast. It felt like the next day I was gone. Maybe not the next. I'm exaggerating. Maybe not the next day.
But yeah, you have
No,
that
but
feeling.
I know
Some
what you're
people get
saying.
really down and just and like a little depressed or sad
Yeah.
about it, and it's like it's a bit of a struggle. And how do you prepare? How did you or how do you
Yeah.
recommend people
Sorry.
preparing for that?
I think I set a goal kind of the next day after the show, and I just decided that my goal was this was going to be my best off season and my best recomp. And so that's all I thought about. Was I took one day at a time, and the goal was to stick to my plan from my coach and nail, like, check all the boxes. Like, did you stick to your meals today? Did you get your steps in? Kept my cardio in. I've had shows where post show I just did not want to do any cardio because you do so much of it leading up to a show, and I just did not go there. I got right back on the step mill. A couple days post show, got back into my workout, started prepping my food, and I just really stuck to the plan. And my coach was great. Like, we set a goal that I'm doing North American. So I have a goal I'm competing in less than a year. And she was really honest with me. She's like, if you want to be there and be competitive, you have to own this now. And
Nice.
you can't half-ass your recomp because, you're in a position post-show where it can go really well, where you can gain a whole lot of fat really quick. And then
Yep. Okay.
it's even harder on the head and it's even harder on the body. So yeah, I just took it one day at a time and just checked all the boxes just like I did in prep. So I kept the same mindset as prep. And so how is it
Nice.
going? It might starting to change now. So like I've just started to lose, like I've lost my abs finally. That is the longest I've ever
Oh,
kept them
that's so.
post show. So I was proud of myself. Yeah, so they're gone now in the last week, and there definitely was a moment where I was like, meow.
You're like, oh
Meow, they're
no,
gone.
yeah.
But then,
It's heartbreaking. It is.
But
It's
to
like a cool
imagine
story.
also thinking like, a 40-year-old person, man or woman with abs is like imagine
Metal.
it's a rare. That's like a 1%, right? You're falling into
Pretty
the
proud of
1%
myself.
category. So like that's
Yeah.
unbelievable in itself. So
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the
it's
goal is
amazing.
not focusing on my body changing, but staying focused on my routine and the habits I need to make
yeah.
sure that I'm competitive when I go to do North Americans. The goal is to go in and be as competitive as I can, especially in the master's class. So, every day counts right now.
Are you going to be? Are you looking at doing the North Americans in 24?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
That's exciting.
That's
yeah, I'm
fantastic.
pumped.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Oh yeah, you're gonna go and you're gonna kill it. And then maybe in a
That's
few
the goal.
years you'll see me. Maybe.
Hell
We hope
yes.
so. I hope
Yeah?
so.
No,
You better.
no,
Give me
maybe.
give me a couple years, yeah.
You better. You're
One
getting
day at a
so
time,
much
girl.
education. And you're talking to all these amazing people. You got to put it to use.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to. I'm going to. I'm just
You're
like
going
making
to.
sure that like by the time I go to compete, you're like, you know what? I think that's it for me. It's like, oh no. I was late to the draw.
Hey, I'm going to be in there cheering you on. That's the goal,
Oh,
right?
okay, fuck yeah, I'm here for that.
Hell yes, girl.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Awesome. You said also through you had a little bit of a break there. You had a couple years off of competing.
Yeah.
Yep. Was that the time you were just pretty tired of it? You just needed a physical, mental break, or it was like a life situation that kind of kept you?
A little bit of, yeah, a little bit of both. So after that fifth show, I was done for a while.
Yeah.
Like my body was, pretty tired. I wouldn't recommend doing that many shows that close together. I know some people just kind of knock them off one after another. I'm definitely not someone that works well for. So definitely that I was ready for a break. And then I just had a lot of life stuff, right?
Right.
So life happens to all of us. We all go through hard times, and definitely got stuck and working through some life stuff for a couple of years. And I just had to make sure that I was ready to really take on a prep. If I was going to do it, I knew I wanted to do it better than I had in the past.
Yeah.
So
For 100%.
that took a while. Yeah, it took a while until I felt good enough to do that.
So saying that, I know through those few years of breaks, you accumulated some tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Full leg sleeve.
Right.
You did the whole leg? There you go.
Yeah.
Sick.
Ouch.
So when you were getting those tattoos done, were you thinking that you were going to be going back on stage, or were you like, this won't really affect my stage presence, or do you think it has, or at all?
I think it's a great question. I know I wanted to do a leg sleeve probably for about 10, 15 years, and I hadn't done it because of competing. So I
Okay.
was so worried because when I started competing, people were at that point covering up their tattoos, right? They would put like almost
Oh,
like
yeah.
makeup cover
Makeup.
up over them. We
Yeah.
don't do that anymore. Thank God, because that was nuts and
Oh,
really
that just
tedious.
washed out everything as well.
Oh, it was just such a thing. So I held off for a long time, and then I just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it." Wanted to get the leg sleeve done, so did that over about a year or two, and knew I was gonna get back into competing, and just thought, if this is what holds me back from doing well, and I get judged down for this, then that's fine. I'll own that choice.
Right.
I
And
feel that way
so
about my
I don't think it
dreadlocks.
hurt me. Yeah, like you know what I find in a lot of ways, people aren't getting judged down as much for tattoos anymore just because so many people have them now,
Yeah.
right? So, it's definitely a possibility if I'm on stage next to someone and, our conditioning's the same, our shape is similar, and I have a leg tattooed and they don't, they might beat me, and that's fair.
Well, I
Like,
think it just depends on if
okay with
it's
that.
disguising or like hiding like tie-ins, or
Yeah,
if the tattoo's
absolutely.
wrapping around your hamstrings, maybe. But
So I tell you, I do like 4 to 5 layers of tan. I do extra coats of tan at shows,
yeah, you're
and it
pretty
Oh,
helps with
dark.
wow.
it.
So here's
Oh,
your.
that's a good idea. There you
So
go.
this is
Little
the
pro
pendulum
tip there.
squat. That's the squat.
Yeah, put it in
Haha. Oh,
pendulum.
That's the
savage.
squat and the tattoo. So
Oh, yeah, that looks awesome. That
right.
looks like it would just like be screaming. I'm here
Oh my
for it.
God, behind the knee, not a party.
Oh, right.
Would not
For
recommend for anyone.
the tattoo.
Hmm.
Yeah, Kenzie's got so many tattoos. I have none. And people are like, I can't believe you don't have any. And I'm like, I'll just leave that up to
Yeah,
Kenzie. He's got more than enough for the both of us.
her fiance's covered. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
got
it
very
is
little
tough
skin
because
left.
Yeah.
I'm done.
He said the back was the worst.
Oh yeah, like around the joints, like that's what I always heard. I remember
Yeah, it's
when I
pretty bad.
started it, we started by framing the knee, and I said, "Is this gonna hurt?" And then they all just started laughing at me in the tattoo shop, and I thought, "Oh, I'm fucked."
Like, okay.
You know
That's
you're in
what.
for a
So I,
fucking time when they start laughing at you. It's like,
yeah,
uh-oh,
they're like, "Oh,
what have I
Rachel."
signed up for?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But hey,
It is what it is.
done.
What it
So
is.
we're good.
All right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I'm happy with it.
All right. We got a couple more questions here before we finish off, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Um, someone wants to know, what do people misunderstand about you the most? Do you like maybe if someone doesn't really know you and they see you in the gym, do you or yeah, Something
Like,
that
what
you
other
like people.
questions people ask you? Yeah, they like walk up to you and like they start asking you assuming questions, mainly to kind of put their beliefs either at rest or get an answer from you, if that makes sense.
Honestly, I don't find I get a lot of that. I think I'm not. I've been told I'm not very approachable in the gym, so I think that's
Oh.
what it is. I'd like to think I'm a very friendly, kind, open person, but I think I get a little. I'm a little scary looking sometimes, and just I'm
Well, if you're
short. I
trading,
carry a lot of
sure.
muscle. Yeah, so I want people to know they can come talk to me. Please do. I love to
Right.
talk about this stuff. I'm a huge nerd.
Well,
I'll talk about this stuff with anyone, anytime. But yes, I'm not as scary as I look.
I love that.
So yeah, please approach. Please approach. I had
that's
my
nice.
my
Yeah.
boyfriend came up to me the other day and said, "There's this guy that wants to ask you about that exercise you were doing, but he's too afraid to." So he came and asked me because my boyfriend's a very
Oh
friendly,
my
chatty guy at the gym.
gosh.
So people are
What
That's
do
asking
they what
him
do they
questions
think
that's
about
my like
funny.
at the
so.
what do they think is gonna happen when they come and ask? I genuinely like you're like like
I
Like,
don't
what's
know.
what do they really think you could possibly say to them if they. People are so silly.
I guess I got to work on my what is it? My resting bitch face, maybe
just like
do more smiles at the gym, make more eye contact.
it's
Do
like,
more like the head nods are always
hey,
a
what's
good
up?
one. I like to do the head toss. Yeah.
I
I
tend to
don't
Oh
look
know.
my
at people, so I
gosh.
try to
You're
throw
like,
Totally off
glances and nod
topic.
by them.
Totally off topic story before we do the last question, but just with the head nods and the recognizing people from across the gym. When I go to the gym with Kenzie, sometimes I'll wave at them or like send them like a heart like this from like across the gym and stuff. I've had people walk by and they're like looking at me because he's Kenzie's behind them and they're like, I had one guy like blow me a kiss one time. It was just the
it's like,
funniest thing
oops.
because yeah,
You made
oh, it
his
was great. I,
day.
I just let them. I
Yeah,
just let them think that I'm sending hearts. It's so funny.
yeah.
Then all of a sudden your
Send out all
DMs
the
start
love, right?
blowing
We
up,
all
and you're
need
like, oh
it.
god.
Luckily, that never
Yeah.
happens because the guys or the girls, whoever it is walking by, will keep going, and I don't. I'm still
Yeah.
like looking in the same direction, and then they feel stupid probably because they thought I was talking to them.
Oh,
So funny.
It's like,
well,
Ugh, just
you
funny,
made your
Jim.
day until they realize
yeah,
that they made
you
a
you
mistake.
made them happy for a few minutes there.
Yeah.
My God, we've all been
Good
there.
times.
We've all been there waving at someone, and
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
yeah.
I was just like,
Good
me,
stuff.
me, or then you're like, oh no. Like, why would you be?
Yeah, especially
Head
when you got
down,
your
kind of
music
awkward to
just
walk by.
tuned up to a billion in your ears.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. What do you think? One of your biggest failures in the sport would be, and then how did you learn from it?
Think honestly, just not believing in myself enough. Um, it took me way too long to do a national show. I qualified for one. My first 2 years competing, I qualified both years.
Oh,
And I
okay.
just didn't
Yep.
believe that I was good enough to get up there or that I could be competitive. And just decided I had to work on my mindset. That was the biggest thing I've really improved on in the last 10 years is just starting to believe in myself. And the more you believe in yourself, the harder you'll do the work and you stick accountable to your plan. And it really helped to find the right coach who just agreed with me. She was like, yeah, you have a ton of potential. Let's stop wasting it. And I needed to hear that.
100%.
So,
That's
yeah.
okay. That's nice. Yeah, because I was wondering. The next part of that question was like, how did you get that strength in yourself? How did you get that belief? But having a very supportive coach and team behind you was, yeah, definitely there.
Absolutely. Good coach, surround yourself with
Yeah.
good people. So training at Fitness FX has been life changing for me. And I don't think I would have done as well as at nationals if I didn't have other competitors that were focused and driven and supportive around me. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
get good people in your life and then keep them there. Yeah.
So my I've just been listening to a lot of people talk about Fitness FX and like why they should go because you love having the people around you. And I'm curious on what the environment's like in the sense of like, do you find a lot of people that are training there come up and talk to you. Like for my gym, people like if I see somebody doing something wrong or I would never approach them. It's not really, I don't feel like it is my job, or like I think it'd be, I'm trying to stay in my own lane and not like, unless they're looking like they're going to hurt themselves, I might say something. But 90% of the time, I just let them continue living their best life, doing whatever they're doing. But I'm just curious on what it's like at Fitness FX, if people do approach you or like tell you that you're doing a good job, or like, I'm just curious on if the dynamic is slightly different because of everyone having similar interests and having it be less of strangers in the gym.
Yeah, it's a really great question. It's definitely more of a community feel. So you have pro bodybuilders that train there. You also have like world-class powerlifters that train there. And you have like the average Joe. And they're all in the weight room together and people are chatting. Not as much to me though, apparently, because I'm not approachable.
You're scary as hell.
Right?
I remember the first time
they said, stay away from her.
That redhead, I don't know.
I remember the first time I seen you. Yep.
She might throw a weight at you. Still want to find out.
But yeah, people are really supportive. So, I had tons of people come up to me and just say like, hey, you're looking great. Notice that you've really changed. And they're just, the community vibe is great. Like there's a lot of people having a lot of fun, and they know each other and they know each other by name, and they're teasing each other between sets and kind of sharing equipment. I've never seen a vibe like that in a gym before, and I've been in gyms for years. So really cool
That's
environment.
Awesome.
Yeah, they've done a great job. Sean's done a great job building that in his gym.
Yeah, because when you're outside the circle, like for me going in there, it would be a lot of the times like meeting new people. I'd be interested to see what it would be like being somebody I know a lot of these people, and these people might know of me or have seen me around a little bit. Yeah, I'd be curious to see how that goes. Maybe I'll walk in, they'd be like, finally, bitch. What the fuck?
What took you so long? We've been waiting.
Yeah, and I'm going to be like, shit, you got me. I've got no answer for you.
Hey, you want to come crush a workout with me sometime? It's an open invitation. You let me know.
We got to do it. And Josh, we got to do that too. I almost forgot about that. She rekindled my memory.
Pick you up next weekend. We'll go.
Or we'll drive myself in my brand new vehicle that I gave up bodybuilding for.
You got it.
Yeah.
What kind of car did you get?
So with used vehicles, beggars can't be choosers. I like Toyota, but I've got no hate for like other brands. I've had Cavaliers and stuff like that before, but I have a Mazda CX-3. It's like a SUV style sedan.
It's quite nice. I like it.
Awesome. Yeah. You love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm huge fan. Oh my God, it's so nice knowing that my wheels aren't going to fall off or something crazy.
Yeah.
It's just so nice. It sounds so sporty. Yeah.
Yes,
it even has like a sport mode on it.
In it.
Yeah. I could just throw it in the back. Yeah, pull up with the good speakers, with the Bose speakers.
Mode.
In sport mode.
Yeah.
That's my road rage mode.
Awesome. So that sounds like a plan.
Oh God.
Awesome.
If I pull up, listen to a rap song that isn't even English, you'll know it's me. Yeah, I'm excited. I would have to go in there. Like a lot of my gym program doesn't have any of those pieces of equipment because I don't have them at my gym. So it would be interesting to go in there and almost kind of tweak my schedule, tweak my regime up a little bit. Yeah, just have fun. Yeah, because I'm not really. Yeah, I'm not training for anything right now, so now's a great time to experiment and see. I feel like especially if I want to start bulking and get my quads up, like find that machine that really obliterates them.
Yeah, the machines, movements, a little bit of just more inspiration to make it a little bit more consistent.
Yeah. Well, I just see some girls on Instagram and they got some thick, juicy, delicious looking legs, and they're doing that, and they got all these crazy.
You must be following Alix.
I follow all kinds of
right?
Definitely.
Nice
definitely Alix. Yeah. Watermelon crushers.
I'm still working on
Maybe
them,
someday.
Let me tell you. We're going to see improvements this year.
I have no idea if I'll be a hard gainer or not. I probably will be. But the
I've seen
legs,
your
they're
physique.
tough.
You will be just fine. You will do well.
It's the unknown that always makes
Gotta do the
me.
work, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you got to. And I can't say shit because I haven't been doing the work. Although I did
But
go
you
to
know
the gym
what?
today.
Do you read at all?
No,
Okay. Do you listen
I
to
can though. I will read
I was like,
if there's a book that's good.
it's like,
Ryan Holiday writes books on based on the Stoics, so Greek Stoics, and he has a podcast too. It's worth checking out, and his books are phenomenal. Really short chapters are super short, and I read them in prep. So like, Discipline is Destiny was the one that, and The Obstacle is Away were the two that I kind of was reading leading into Nationals and the Halifax show,
nice.
and
Okay.
really helped. Yeah. Read like a
Good
page
to
or two in the
know.
morning before my day, and it just kept me kind of focused. So
Centered. Yeah, that makes
yeah, girl,
sense.
look into
I
it.
can definitely see that.
It's worth it.
Sounds
Yeah.
awesome. All right. A couple things before we get going. I just want to make sure that we do a shout out to anyone that you would like, your coach, any people that you want to plug, or and yourself and your coaching. How do I say?
Yeah, give yourself
just
a shout out as well.
Your coach and like your. I know you have you coach and you have your own own little business. So go for it.
Yeah. So I coach in person and online. Been doing that for 20 years. Have a lot of education, continuously doing
Yeah.
education. So work with lifestyle and mostly female competitors. So if you're looking to do a show, anyone please reach out and we'll definitely have a chat to see if we're compatible. I have an amazing coach too, so she's actually worth looking into too. Her name's Allie Mills, and you can find her she's easy to find on Instagram, Team Mills. And she's been life changing for me. I've seen most of my progress under her, so I have nothing but amazing things to say about her. And
Nice.
Fitness FX, if you're not there, get there.
I love
It's
it.
the
Yep.
gym to be training at. It's a great experience. You'll meet really nice people there from walking in at the front desk. Everyone's friendly.
Totally.
Everyone's kind of supportive to goals, and you'll just see some inspiring people there. There's some amazing competitors in powerlifting, strongman, bodybuilding there. It's very motivational.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
Excellent. And I just
All right,
want to
Ptolemy.
also, I
Oh,
just
sorry.
want to
Yep.
also remind people to comment on the video here and like and subscribe to the channel. Yeah, so please do. The more comments we get, the better this will get out to everybody. We're already being watched several different countries right now, so that's
It's
fantastic.
always so fun.
I know, it's super cool, but we want to get out there more. We want to be a little bit bigger, so let's keep the algorithm happy and comment, like, subscribe, share, please do, and so we'll get more. Yeah, we'll get more guests on. Just telling it how it is, telling them about the amateur experience and educating us. So that's what it's all about. And we all are looking to just better ourselves. And Alex, you gave us so much great information to help do that. And I hope a lot of people take this to heart and follow what you've said, especially with like self-love and self-doubt and how to, how to get around that. That's
We're all human,
important.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, creeps up on you every so often.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like to say, like,
Thank you
even
for having me
myself.
on, guys.
Yeah, it was wonderful, and I don't know when we first met. It was probably, goodness, at least 6 years ago, maybe 7, when you were at the red gym. I'd like to say it.
Mm-hmm.
The other one.
The red gym.
The red and white gym. The good gym. That one. Yeah. When we were living our good life. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Oh,
live the
look
good
at Kitty.
life. Yeah, he's
Look
living
at
his
us, we're
good
both
life.
around
You were talking about good life, so I had to just show him making his biscuits.
Bro. More beautiful.
He's
kid.
living his good life.
You living a good
Yep,
life?
and it's really cool to look at that like 7 years ago till now and how far we've both come and how far,
Yeah.
right? It's pretty
We're
amazing.
going to keep going.
And we're gonna keep going.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you very, very much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time out to come on the show and give everyone a little bit of a more you and let everyone know that you're approachable.
Yes, I'm nice. I'm a nice person, I swear.
She is. She really is. She's full of knowledge. If you have any questions, I guess go and ask her.
I'll be at
absolutely,
Fitness FX one day, and hopefully I'll see you there one day, and I'll yell at you from across the gym, like, "What's going on?" And you'll be like, "Who is this chick?" But I'm just gonna run with it for 2 seconds, because
I'll be like,
if anyone's gonna do that, yeah, and everyone's gonna be like, "Okay, that bitch is cool," and then we'll stop the.
Cool.
Yeah. I found that people
know?
didn't talk to me at all when I'd go to the gym, and then one person would walk up, and it's like, I wonder if everyone else was like looking at this one person they were testing out to see if I was safe to talk to. And then okay, they survived the conversation, then the next person, and now it's like people approach me all the time.
No, you can't get your work.
It was just a testing. Yeah, no, actually
that
at some point it does get annoying. I've definitely had moments where it's like, all right.
But it's just all the fandom that comes along with the podcast. I'm so sorry. It happens.
Well, I love that for you.
It's like, hey. Well, I that would be cool if it happened more often.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks, Alex. Really appreciate it. And thanks, Caroline, for coming on tonight. Perfect.
Hasta la vista, guys. It's time for me to go eat some Brussels sprouts and steak, and I'm so excited.
Brussels sprouts at 9:00. Oh, poor Kenzie.
Yeah, I put some Parmesan cheese under them and baked them.
God. Okay. All right.
That's what I do.
Go enjoy those Brussels.
Oh, I'm gonna. I haven't had cheese, and I can't remember the last time I had cheese, so I'm just gonna go enjoy it.
All right. You guys have a good night and enjoy your cheese.
You too.
I will.
See ya.
See ya.